What is going on, brothers? What is going on? It is your dude, Mr. International Passport, here again for yet another future classic live stream. First and foremost, please press a one in the live stream chat if y'all can hear me loud and clear. How is my audio tonight? Okay, how's my audio? Who's in the building? Press a one in the live stream chat if y'all can hear me loud and clear. Who's here? Who's here? Okay, how's the audio? Before I go any further, Ozzy, thanks for confirming, bro. Much appreciated. Can I get a couple more ones, please, in the live stream chat? Lando Carishian, give me two more ones, please, in the live stream chat to make sure y'all can hear me loud and clear. Is my audio clean, crisp, and concise? Okay, a lot to break down tonight, but I need to make sure that the production quality is crisp and clean. We got 14 people here so far. Can I get a couple more ones, please, from those who are watching right now? Give me two more ones from a different person. Okay. How's the audio? Passport on mic, base pure clips. Thank you very much for confirming. Awesome. So let's get straight into it, man. So, brothers, welcome to another Future Classic live stream. I'm your gracious host, Mr. International Passport. I want to say a huge thank you to all those that have supported the channel over the past couple of years. Your support is greatly appreciated. I welcome aboard the new people. I accept and I embrace you with open arms. When you come in tonight, please like the video. Likes are extremely important. Please join Patreon to support the channel and to have extra benefits and intel. And of course, book your item consultations, cop the merch. And tonight, hit the super chats and PayPal donations. That shall be greatly appreciated. So let's get straight into it, brothers. Let's get straight into it. So today, we shall be discussing geopolitics. Okay, so this is the first geopolitics talk, the first of many on the channel. It is very important that we discuss geopolitics as passport bros who are seeking to travel around the world to meet new women, but of course, understand how the world is around us. Okay, so if you've not been sleeping under a rock, right? If you've been watching, if you've been aware, watching the news, you can see that there's a major conflict happening in the Middle East. Okay, between Israel and Palestine. Okay, this conflict has been taking up a lot of news, programming, social media, etc., etc. So it's obviously a very big issue at the moment. But the topic of this live stream is that why China is the big winner in the Israel versus Palestine conflict. Okay, why is that? Okay, so obviously this war, okay, is mostly centered around Israel and Palestine in the Middle East. But from my analysis, from what I see, China is playing a very smart game here. Okay, and by the time this conflict ends, they are going to benefit largely from it. Okay, why is that? Okay, so why is China going to benefit from this conflict? China's all the way in East Asia, it's nowhere near the Middle East, but what does China have to do with this? Okay, so first and foremost, right, we all know China is a world power. Okay, they have done incredible things over the past 20, 30 years. They've built themselves up from being a third world country to being the second biggest economy in the world, potentially the first in the coming decade. Okay. As you see, brothers, right, in this Israel and Palestine conflict, the whole world is with Palestine here. The whole world is rooting for Palestine. I'm in the UK. There are many protests, right, of people that are rooting for Palestine and Palestinian people. I look at social media, I look at what's happening in America, in Africa, even in South Korea and Japan, protests for Palestinian people. Okay. One thing about China is that China observes world affairs. China's goal is to be a major leader worldwide. Okay. So the Chinese here are being very smart in their approach to this conflict. Whenever something happens in the world that's major, you best believe, like America, like the UK, China will say something about it because China has clout, China has money, China has power. Okay. So if there's a war breaking out, China will speak on it. The same way they spoke about the war in Ukraine and in currently in Russia as well. But in this case here, okay, people are riding with Palestinians. And you would think that, China and Israel have similar ideals. They have a very close relationship. They do a lot of trade amongst each other. However, China is China is slightly leaning towards the Palestinian side. Okay. China is slightly leaning towards the Palestinian side. They've made it very clear that what's happening in Palestine, the occupation, there needs to be a two-state solution. And that statement there has shocked Israel. It has shocked Israel. Okay. Because China and Israel have very close ties. So I'm going to share my screen here, right? I'm going to show you a tweet, right, of a video of the Chinese foreign minister saying that injustices faced by Palestinians cannot continue any longer. Okay. These kind of comments are comments that Israel do not like. Okay. Once again, Israel and China are very close, but China are playing the long game here. Okay. And I'm gonna break it down further in the stream as to why China is siding with the Palestinians, or at the very least, they're very neutral in this conflict. Okay. So let me share my screen here. Share screen. Share screen. Okay. And I'll share it on this screen over here, brothers. All right. So y'all can see here, right? This is the Chinese foreign minister. This will be in Chinese, but the subtitles you can see here in English. Let me play for you, brothers.
以色列人得到了生存的保障，巴勒斯坦人的生存谁来关心？以色列的民族已经不在世界上颠沛流离，巴勒斯坦民族何时才能重返家园？这个世界存在各种不公，而对巴勒斯坦的不公已经延宕了大半个世纪，承接了几代人的痛苦，不能再继续下去了。
Now, let me make this very clear, brothers, right? Okay. China isn't a perfect nation. All right. China has done some things in the past that do go against, humanity, humanitarian causes. However, okay, they are coming out strong here and showing leadership. Okay. People I've spoke to, what I see on social media, they are praising China for taking a right approach here. Okay. But is China's intentions truly genuine? And that's a question we have to ask here. Like I told you, brothers, right? We live in a world where it's a real life Game of Thrones. Power is everything in this world. Forget about equality, forget about diversity and equity schemes, all these lies we are fed by the powers that be. Okay. This world centers around power. If you don't have power, you will get left behind. No one will care about you. You will be trampled on. Okay. China has power and China wants more power. Okay. For reasons I do not know. Okay. It's the same way America has power and wants even more power, the UK and every other Western country. Once again, the world we live in is a world similar to Game of Thrones. People fighting over resources, over equity, over weapons, over technology, over intellectual property. It is a great cluster F. Okay. So as you can see here, the Chinese foreign minister is riding with Palestine, saying that the injustices faced by Palestinians cannot continue any longer. All right. Israel isn't going to like this. Okay. The position that that China has taken here, okay, is a position that the majority of people all around the world, okay, they agree with. They agree with, okay. So China, in doing this, right, is trying to put itself out as a major world leader. And we know that China and America are not the best of friends here. China doesn't like America. America doesn't like China. Okay. However, the people are riding with Palestine. China is riding with Palestine. And it's very clear that America is riding with Israel. So there's a power struggle here that's happening here, brothers. Okay. And as always, there's a long game here and there's a short-term game here. Okay. So China is coming out here punching, right, with with uppercuts, headshots, nothing's holding them back, right, in where they're picking in this particular conflict. Okay. And I'll share my screen here again, okay, as to why China, okay, they know what they're doing. So let me share my screen here real quick, brothers. Okay, share screen. Okay. So you can see here in this article, right, China has even upped its ante even more. All right. They're now sending emergency humanitarian aid to Gaza. When they announced this, right, I went on social media. I went on Twitter, right? I was researching as to how people thought about this particular statement. People were praising China. China is a new world leader. Look at what the Chinese are doing. Why isn't America doing this? Why isn't Joe Biden calling for a ceasefire and a de-escalation here? Okay. So in the battle between who wants to be the sole major leader on planet Earth, okay, this kind of conflict isn't looking good for America. America is supposed to be this country of liberty, human rights, respect all life. But as people are saying that, why didn't Joe Biden call for a ceasefire when he was in Israel earlier this week? Why didn't Joe Biden tell Netanyahu, hey, that's enough? Not a single peep. It was all about Israel has a right to protect itself. You know, there's a difference between a country, right? There's a difference between a country that has to protect itself and a situation where you have made a statement. Now it's time to cool it down a bit, ceasefire, talk it out. That kind of leadership was missing from America this week. But China's coming out here saying that Palestine, right, what we're seeing there is not right. There needs to be a two-state solution between the Israel and Palestine conflict. Joe Biden didn't say this week that, Israel and Palestine, right, need to agree on a two-state solution. There was no sense of de-escalation here, and there was no sense of telling Israel to have a ceasefire here, stop the air bombing. China not only advocated for ceasefire and stopping the bombing, but it's also sending emergency aid to Gaza. Right? America isn't sending aid to Gaza as I'm aware of so far. Okay, maybe it's changed today or yesterday, but from what I saw, Chinese came out on top. We will send aid to Gaza. Even Russia is sending aid to Gaza. Russia is calling for a de-escalation on this particular matter. So what is going on here, right? Why is China, right, so pro-Palestine in this particular situation when we know that China and Israel have close ties together? Okay. So what we're seeing here, brothers, is a real life Game of Thrones situation. The world of geopolitics is shady. The world of geopolitics is something that the human eye doesn't see, because everything, the most powerful decisions and handshakes happen in the background. Okay. This is another tug of war of power on planet Earth. China has big plans here. Okay? If the people are riding with the Palestinian cause, China knows that it is right to also rally for the Palestinian cause. Now, I don't know if China is genuine with their aid or their statements. Okay, I don't know. I'm not in China. I'm not in the politics of China. I can only assess from an external individual basis. Okay, so China isn't playing any games. It's playing very smart. It's not. China not saying to escalate things further. They want a ceasefire and they want a two-state solution in the Middle East. The Palestinians will love that. The liberals in the UK and America will love that. Okay? The people who are riding majority with Palestine will love that. They will see China as, hey, China's actually a pretty great country. Why isn't my country, America or the UK, calling for a ceasefire or the escalation in this particular matter? Do y'all peep game, brothers? Do y'all peep game? Do you see how geopolitics works from a passport bro's perspective? Okay. So China is coming out here looking like a strongman, a leader, a cause for human rights, a cause for peace. And this ties into the upcoming multipolar world, BRICS. Okay. There's more to meet the eye, right? So as you're seeing here, brothers, right? We're seeing a shift of thinking, right? America's a bad guy. China's a good guy. And 10 years ago, that would never even be a statement, right? China had a bad image. They oppressed their people. But now it's coming like the US, Canada, UK. Why are they all riding for Israel? Why is China, who's supposedly the bad guy, riding for Palestine, for their freedom? Okay. And here's another article, right, by China, all right, in order to push forward that, three-state solution. The way the Chinese are playing the game here is very smart, right? Brothers, life is a constant war. The Chinese understand that, and the Chinese want to win that war, okay? And you can see here, right, in this article, let me share my screen again, all right? China and Russia plan to work together for a two-state solution for Israel and the Palestinians. Look at that, brothers. Once again, China, Russia, two major powerful countries that are pushing against the Western hegemony that we currently live under on planet Earth right now. Most people want a two-state solution. The people that are protesting in America, in the UK, this is the best option for all parties involved. Why didn't Joe Biden in America, right? Why didn't Joe Biden? Why didn't the foreign minister for the White House call for a two-state solution, or at the very least, stop killing each other, talk it out? Israel, be the bigger man. Israel, be the bigger man. No talk there. No talk there. And you can see here, right, China and Russia have the same position on the Palestine question. And China is ready to maintain communication and coordination with Russia to promote the escalation of the situation. So if the people are riding with the escalation, most people want this conflict to stop. I mean, children are dying in Palestine, for goodness sake. And he ain't right. It's looking like China and Russia are the good guys here, particularly China. China has come head in front, de-escalate, two-state solution. That's the only way forward, right? And you can see here, right? And this is by the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Zai. The fundamental reason for the current situation, okay, of the Palestine-Israel conflict is that the Palestinian people's lawful national rights have not being guaranteed. Okay? This is China saying this. So what gives? Why is China doing this, right? Because we know the Chinese are very nationalistic. It's China first. It's the Chinese people first. It's the Chinese interest first. And that's a key point there, the Chinese interest. What we're seeing here, brothers, right, is a major information war that Israel is losing big time. And why is that? Okay? If you go on TikTok, right, you will see that there's many young people that are riding for Palestine. Plenty of young people that are riding for Palestine. Even Twitter, aka X, owned by Elon Musk, right? A lot of young people are riding for Palestine. Okay? However, brothers, right? However, going on from there, right? Who owns TikTok? And that's a major question that we can't ignore. Who owns TikTok? TikTok is owned by the Chinese. And the Chinese have taken a very pro-Palestine, and the Chinese here, right, have taken a very pro-Palestine approach. Once again, brothers, life is a Game of Thrones episode. Look at this, right? Let me share my screen. Okay. You can see here, right? China owns TikTok. TikTok, which has over 150 million American users, is wholly owned, is a wholly owned subsidiary of Chinese technology firm ByteDance Limited. Oh, so we're seeing a lot of pro Palestinian TikToks, right? That if you're on TikTok, you simply can't avoid. Millions of likes, millions of views. The narrative is shifting towards the Palestinian side. Israel is losing the information war. Palestine is winning the information war. And the videos, the text, the conversations are happening on TikTok, a Chinese-owned platform. And we know that China is a communist country. China can request to, to view personal data or TikTok or certain data, or even push out agendas via TikTok. Once again, brothers, once again, it's all tying in. It's all tying in, brothers, into, China's interest. The Chinese are being pro-Palestine because it benefits their interest. And the way America is moving right now isn't good, in my opinion. Okay? Particularly on the world stage. For many years, we've been told that China is a bad guy. And I'm not saying China is perfect. Of course, they've done some things that are not right. But no country is perfect. But if we solely focus on this conflict between Israel and Palestine, okay, Palestine is clearly winning the information war, and China is clearly showing the world that it is a capable leader when it comes to world conflicts. This week, when Joe Biden was in Israel and his staff, I felt like they didn't handle it properly. I felt like they could have been more empathetic to the Palestinian cause. I felt that America could have, with collaboration with Israel, pushed for a ceasefire and a de-escalation. Particularly as to how Israel is now being portrayed around the world. The Chinese watch this and they are executing on the failures of American policy, their foreign policy worldwide. Okay? So why is China pro-Palestine? Why is that? So as you know, right, brothers, okay? The Middle East is a oil-rich country. Right, the Middle East is a oil-rich country. Okay? And earlier this year, right? Okay? China did what was thought to be the impossible. Right? China did what was thought to be the impossible. And China brokered a major deal, right, between Saudi Arabia and Iran. China did that. Not even America could do that. Okay? So if you're someone that knows about Middle East politics and history and geopolitics, Iranians and Saudi Arabians don't really mess with each other like that. They don't like each other like that. Okay? Saudi Arabia has good relations with Israel. Iran has awful and terrible interests with Israel. Okay? So Iran sees how close the Saudis and the Israelis are, and it doesn't like that. Okay? Iran doesn't mess with Israel. Israel doesn't mess with Iran. Iran and Saudi Arabia are both Middle Eastern Islamic countries. Iran feels some type of way as to how, how friendly Saudis are with Israelis. So they've had bad blood for many, many years. But earlier this year, the Chinese did something unthinkable. Okay? The Chinese were able, right, to improve relations between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Something that was thought for many years to be impossible. Okay? So now, do you see what's going on here, brothers? Okay? China wants the Middle East on its side. The Middle East currently, right, has a lot of American interest in Syria, in Saudi Arabia, in Bahrain, in Qatar. Okay? When it comes to this Game of Thrones world that we all live in, America is a dominant player. China, Russia are second tiers, but they're getting there. Okay? So if Iran and Saudi Arabia are on good terms, they are both Islamic countries. They are seeing their Palestinian brothers and sisters and all the children get slaughtered currently in 2023. That's going to bring them closer together. And that's going to bring them closer to China. That will bring them closer to China. Okay? China is playing a very smart game here. China is pro-Palestine because it wants the Middle East to get closer to China. All right? So before the attack of Hamas against Israel 2 weeks ago, okay, the Israelis and Saudi Arabians were supposed to sign a peace broker deal, something similar to the Abraham Accords that was signed by, Trump in his time in office back in 2020 or 2019, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, they were meant to, sign a similar deal. Saudi Arabia would have recognized Israel a lot more than it does right now. Okay, and it would have brought peace amongst both regions. All right. So that means Saudi Arabia would have been closer in the arms of America. But when the attack happened, right, that kind of broke out. That peace deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia is unlikely to happen, right, in its present day. Okay. So something has brought all the Islamic countries together. These countries that slightly lean towards American policy or have favor towards America, apart from Iran. Okay. However, it's clear that America is clearly with Israel. Saudi Arabia and Iran are with Palestine. Saudi Arabia and Iran have power and a lot of oil and a lot of pull in the Middle East. Okay. China wants to be involved in that power pool, wants to, walk side by side with Iranians and Saudi Arabians. as they have the most oil in that region. So the smart thing to do here, brothers, is to side with the Palestinian cause. Both Iran and Saudi Arabia have recently sided with the Palestinian cause. Saudi Arabia condemning Israel for what it's doing currently, Iran condemning Israel for what it's doing currently. So if both major countries in the Middle East are with Palestine, it only makes sense for China to side with Palestine. Both Iran and Saudi Arabia see that. They get closer to China, and Saudi Arabia, which is a major power in the Middle East, right, loses that relationship with America. Again, that's what the Chinese want. The Chinese are constantly in a tug of war with America. And in this chess game that we call the Israeli and Palestinian conflicts, China is winning. And this is why China is benefiting the most out of this conflict from a geopolitical power perspective. You know, this is why China are winning against America in this conflict. America has essentially lost Saudi Arabia as a close ally because America sides so strongly with Israel. America will not leave Israel's side. Saudis don't like that. I read an article earlier this week that this conflict between Israel and Palestine has, for the first time in many years, united all Islamic countries. But you would think that, these Islamic countries were already united. That's not the case, brothers. Okay? There's beef between Shia Muslims and Shiite Muslims. There's beef between, races of Muslim people. There's beef between Egypt and its close ties with Israel and Saudi Arabia and Iran, who don't have that close tie with Israel. So Muslim people have been quite divided over the past couple of years. But this Palestine and Israel conflict has brought them all together. Okay? And China is siding with Palestine. Therefore, China is benefiting the most from this conflict. More strategic partners, more business partners, more influence in the region. You know how influential this Saudi-Iran deal was? This even shocked America, and it shocked Israel and Israelis the most. China ain't playing no games. Okay? This is why we as passport bros, right, have to understand the geopolitics, the underlying nature of this war. Life is a Game of Thrones battle. Okay? It really is. There's more to the eye than what we see. Okay? So that was my statement there. Okay, and I hope you've enjoyed this first geopolitics show. I'm going to do a lot more. And let's get some callers in. Please keep it very PG. No crazy talk, no slurs. Please don't be too political. Keep about China and their true intentions here. Okay. But yeah, these are my thoughts, brothers. And feel free to call in and let's have a great discussion here, man. Okay. Let's go. So the phone lines are open, brothers. Okay. Press a 1 in the chat if you've enjoyed this show and talk. Slightly different. I'm trying to diversify my content, give you guys more value, more things to discuss. But in this particular situation here, China benefits the most. China benefits the most. It owns TikTok. TikTok has come out to be pro-Palestine in its content, in terms of how many views pro-Palestine content gets, how many likes it gets, brokering the deal with Iran and Saudi Arabia, both Muslim countries side with Palestine and Palestinians. This is how the world runs. Okay? And this is why geopolitics is such an exciting topic for me. Very exciting. Okay? Mr. Lover Evans, can you turn your camera on in the background, please? I know you're sure. Mr. Lover Evans, turn your camera on in the background. All right, if you don't do so, bro, I can't bring you on. Okay. Awesome. So, brothers, please feel free to like the video, send your questions in the super chat or PayPal donations. And yeah, feel free to call others to chime in on this discussion. JAM in the building. Thank you, bro. Turn your camera off, brother. Obviously, brothers, keep it PG, no crazy talk. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Let me bring in Mr. JM in the background. What's going on, JM?
Hey, Peace. I literally just caught your email about potentially doing the stream today. Of course, I missed it. But in my defense, the last time we talked, I don't think you actually did send me that email. So I'm not sure what happened there, but you told me to check my inbox. I didn't see any email from you.
No worries,
yeah.
bro. We'll get another day, okay? Next time. Later. I'll email you again.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm actually I'm glad. I guess this is it was a good thing that I missed it, because you ventured out. Now talking more about geopolitics. I'm a little bit surprised that you're touching this, because it seems like how you always mention the powers that be. Right? It seems like the powers that be don't really want people to talk about this. I'm actually surprised that you're talking about this situation. But I just want to concur with what you were saying earlier. I'm surprised because when you look at the social media aspect, I'm assuming people are just going to quickly, essentially they're just going to agree with what the mainstream wants you to say. Right? They're going to agree with Israel, etc. But you look at the comments and they're all like, well, why aren't you mentioning the prisoners and the Palestinians and what the Israelis are doing to them? And that's I'm actually seeing that quite a lot more. So I'm seeing more support for Palestine than I am for Israel. I'm actually quite shocked at that, because I just assume, right, when the powers that be want the masses to believe something, the masses just believe it. So I didn't think about reasons why that might be, but you did bring up, the fact that China does control TikTok, and I'm not on that platform, so. I don't know how that works, but that could be very well be a reason why they're losing this information battle. Because of course, when I saw this, I was indifferent. But if I had to give a supporter, I would say I support Palestine over Israel. But I didn't think that would be a common consensus. However, that's happening. So it's quite shocking what's happening here, to be honest with you, at least from my perspective.
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, and it definitely is a surprise as to what's going on here and how China fits into the whole grand scheme of things. And it's just fascinating and interesting to speak about, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you think is gonna? I mean, do you have any predictions about what's going to happen here? Do you think there's going to be a long-standing dispute? Do you think this will be resolved quickly? Or what do you think?
I think it'll be a long war. A long war, definitely a year at least, in my opinion. What happens, I don't know, but I think it will be a long, drawn-out war.
One thing I'll say that I find quite amusing is seeing the liberals, right, kind of having to remedy this issue, because the liberals have been pro both sides, and now they kind of have to choose a side. And those that have been supporting Palestine have been lambasted by the powers that be. I'm not sure if you saw what happened with the Harvard organizations, right, that supported Palestine. Have you heard about that?
Yep, I heard about that. Yep.
Yeah, so that I find to be quite amusing. But I do like the fact that people are kind of breaking free from the gaslighting. Like they're not just simply. I think more and more people are recognizing, right, who controls the power and why are we
Don't go to that, bro. Just keep it about China.
Yeah, well, I mean, with China, yeah, I mean, China has been playing. See, the thing that China does, and what did you see their kind of like a State of the Union address about the United States that they released earlier this year? It was very on point, in my opinion. It sucks because I am from here, but when they were talking about how the U.S. bullies other countries, etc., and what they plan on doing about it, it seemed accurate. And what China does is they play the long game. They play the slow game. They know they're going to win, so they're not going to. They kind of follow the Sun Tzu art of war. So if they know, right, that they're getting that the U.S. is weakening and they're getting stronger, right? Why confront us directly now? Obviously, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that day comes. But they're simply just biding their time. They know that they know that us Americans are weakening, and now we're starting to see, before we saw little tidbits, but now we're starting to see like markers of this happening. Because you mentioned the deal that they were able to broker in the Middle East, and then we have things like this. It seems like China will be the new superpower once the U.S. falls.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for that, JM, bro. I need to drop you off, brother. It'll be a quick stream today, okay? We'll speak soon. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, Jay. So, Mr. Lovell Evans, can you turn your camera on in the background, please? You're doing so. I'm kicking out, brother. So you're taking too long. All right, brothers. Feel free to call in if you want to chime in on this discussion. Now is the time. Call in, or else I'm going to end the stream early. It won't be a long stream. Okay, I want to keep it short, clean, crisp, and concise. So feel free to call in if you want to chime in on this discussion. Okay, all right. So got a super chat here. Give me a second, brother. Shout out to Mr. JG for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate you, bro. If it wasn't for the US, the beep would have been wiped out by now. Interesting comment there, bro. Thanks for the support, brother. Much appreciated, brother. Much appreciated, JG. Thank you very much, bro. Let me see something real quick. All right, awesome. Brother, I'm gonna give y'all 5 more minutes for y'all to call in, hit your questions in the PayPal super chat. If not, I'm gonna end it early. Okay. All right. So, great discussion here, brothers. I definitely feel like we need to be more aligned and more. I see you there. Are you mind? Jahan, thank you, bro. You confirmed. Do you want to turn your camera off or leave it on? It's up to you, bro. Jahani, do you want to turn your camera off? I can't bring you on, bro, for some reason. It says device is not connected. Okay, now it works. Okay, so Jahani, keep it PG, please. Okay, keep it coded. No crazy talk, please. Okay, thank you. What's going on, Jahani?
Hello. I'm just unsure as to what China has to really gain from supporting Palestine in this conflict. You touched on it a little by gaining the Middle East favor, but specifically, what does China have to gain?
A good question there, bro. I hear you're from the UK, so welcome, bro, to UK Voice. I would say, bro, what you have to gain from it is more influence and more people on its side. Okay, the more countries outside of China against the West and Western hegemony, the better for China. It's very clear that China's values and what China wants to do is incompatible with America. And we all know that America and the West have major influences all around the world, and they use that influence via American bases. You notice how even in Japan, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, they all have an American base.
Yes.
And I always go by this particular statement, right? If you have a country, right, and that country has a base, right, from another country, you are ran by that country in some shape or form. Okay, so China obviously wants to have more influence around the world, be seen as the liberator against the West. And what better than to have oil-rich Middle Eastern countries on your side, bro, against the West? There is better, and these are developed countries that have power that basically control the oil industry, bro, all around the world. Think about it.
I
What's your
see.
thoughts about that,
Yes,
bro?
yeah. And it's no, you're right actually, because they also need a lot of the oil for their industry and to power the I think Belt and Road Initiative, which they're currently doing a conference on right now. So yeah, I think so. But what I find strange is how China doesn't really mind a lot of this country's Islamic values, so to speak. It doesn't find it as corrosive as others would say,
Mm.
as others do, as like the Indians do, or even the African nations do, or even the West does. So, how do you think going forward, how would China manage that relationship, especially with Islamic values of these Middle Eastern countries?
I think China doesn't care about what religion you support, what your values are. It's all about making money for China,
Yes,
and it's all
but
about
I'll say that's like the Chinese professional. What about the Chinese people?
Chinese
Because
people have no. Go on, bro. You go.
oh, sorry, because in like let's say in Africa, India, and in the West, it's mostly the people who have who really have that animosity or who has that tension. That's where the tension really arises. But the governments, because they don't have to interact with in a close quarters, they don't really get as tense with those values. They just keep it a bit more technical speech.
That's very true. So, I would say, right, when it comes to China and business interests, they don't,
Yes.
from what I see from my route, they don't care about what happens in politics, and they don't seek to influence a country by politically, as opposed to America, who, without a single doubt, right, want to change things to their liking, Western values. Okay, they don't like, how certain things are run in Saudis. They'll make hit pieces about you. They'll complain about that. China never does that. I've never seen China complain about Saudi's, Islam policies or Iran's Islam policies. It's all about the the cash, right? The dollars. So that's what makes China, right, a better partner for many countries worldwide. Right? Let us run our countries as how we see as how we see fit, okay? And let's just make money. And that's why they're winning this war against influence against America.
Okay, I see. Yes. Yeah.
Awesome, bro.
Okay,
Any
that's
questions?
no, that's all I have really. That'll be good.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Johannu. Appreciate you, bro. Shout
Thank
out to Mr. Duck Dissident for the $5 super chat. The US Western hegemony has become what it hates, the new Iron Curtain. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is facts there, bro. That's absolute facts without a single doubt. Thank you, bro, for the support. So any callers want to call in and chime in this discussion? Any new callers? Now is the time. I'm gonna give that a minute or two, and I will wrap it up. Now we got And this is what I'm saying, man. Like, brothers, y'all gotta start thinking about life in a serious note. Yeah, the women are great. Yeah, blah 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 is great. But you gotta see, right, how the world runs. Because how the world ran, it will have some sort of impact in your life, right? There's more to life than women. Women are great. We do streams about women. We react to crazy women. That's great, right? But we also got to be serious as well. And that's why I teach you brothers IT. That's why me and Theo did a Passport Bro show. I mean, if this was about some blonde chick with blue eyes that had a booty like Keisha, a big booty, right? This would be over 200 live, many callers, many super chats. I mean, come on, brothers, man. Come on, man. I don't know what to say anymore, man. Okay. We need to make sure we see the world from a global geopolitical perspective to others. How to tap into other markets, how conflict can impact us as passport bros. All right, I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes. No one calls in. I'm going to end stream. I want to go for an hour and get as much callers in, different perspectives, but maybe that'll be for the next geopolitics talk. Okay, but now we've set the agenda, we've set the talk for geopolitics. Look forward to having more discussions here, more videos, more streams. Yeah. I'll give it 2 more minutes, then we'll wrap it up. Shout out to Sid Ozzy for the $4.99 super chat. Appreciate it, bro. The business of China is business. Other countries use as a business. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And this is why China is winning this this information war against America. It only cares about business. We don't care about your politics. Let's make money together. And that's it. Great super chat there, Sid. Thank you, bro. All right, last minute, brothers. All right. Awesome, brothers. I hope you've enjoyed the stream, brothers. Shout out to usual suspects. Salute to y'all. And I'll see you, brothers, on the next talk. Peace out, brothers. Thank you.